We'll kick off then. We've only got 20 minutes to get through this. So I hope everyone had a great lunch. I'm Liz Prince. I'm going to talk today about quite a mouthful of a title actually, looking in retrospect, fast and efficient text analysis using Azure's language AI service. Now that used to be Azure's cognitive services. I noticed this morning they've changed to AI services recently because I've been using the APIs quite a while. Haven't looked back at the documentation for a bit. So it is a new guise of language AI services. But really, the talk's going to be how we can get as much information as possible out of textual data, as it really is a gold mine, and I think it's a bit of an untapped resource. Microsoft do give us kind of resources where we can do it quite effectively if you've got a bit of Python knowledge with you. But they do give you some really great Python code as well to kind of get really into it and access these APIs and get some really nifty kind of AI stuff done. So before we kick off, they have asked us to put the feedback links in at the start and at the end. So if you want to get up now, it's going to go back up at the end as well, just to get that so you're aware. We do really appreciate feedback. So quickly, who am I? I'm a machine learning developer for a company called Purple Frog Systems. We're based in the Midlands and do anything from Power BI development, data engineering, anything with Fabric now as well, and machine learning and AI from myself. In terms of my certifications, I'm a Microsoft data scientist and AI engineer associate. Held that for about 2 years now. And general experience, I've worked in the data industry for about 6 years now, primarily through languages like R, VBA, SQL, Spark, and Python. If you want to get in contact with me, by Twitter, Lewis Prince. I don't really use it too much, so I preferably prefer LinkedIn. If you have any questions online, email me afterwards or message me on LinkedIn afterwards. It's only 20 minutes, so online questions, I'll probably answer through that. In-person questions, if you want to talk to me afterwards, because I don't think we'll have time at the end. And I've recently started doing some blog posts on a blog page, and that QR code will take you there as well, straight to where my blog posts are. So, flight plan for today. We will go through what natural language processing is, what the Azure AI services are. I'll then show you the Language Studio, as well as the kind of interface where you can get a lot of documentation and get started with kind of not just a kind of natural language processing, but also like speech stuff, document analysis. There's a whole host of stuff there, but we'll talk in particular about language today. And then I will kind of show you the outputs of when we do this of natural language processing. I've kind of filtered the data into a Power BI report. Now, I'll profess I'm not the best at Power BI, so if any Power BI kind of people out there, don't crucify me for anything you see that's not the best kind of protocol, etc. But it gets the job done in the end, and hopefully that kind of shows you at the end. So, what is natural language processing? It's a branch of AI which lets computers understand speech and text, spoken words. In essence, natural language is anything that has naturally been produced as a language, so English, French, Spanish, not such stuff as like Python, C++, like computer languages. It could extend to more produced languages like Esperanto, as they're not naturally produced, but it probably falls under the same kind of umbrella term. But it's the way we process language every day, and we try to recreate that as all AI does. So when I'm talking to you now, you're doing natural language processing. So the whole process is kind of breaking down the little bits of what makes natural language processing overall. And Microsoft gives APIs to those little bits to extract more information from the text and spoken words we have. So in particular, the three little bits we're going to talk about today are keyword analysis, sentiment analysis, and opinion mining. So you may ask, what is keyword analysis? In essence, it's kind of taking the main bits from a big block of text. So it's taking something like this and turning it into something like this. And that's kind of a direct output of the Language Studio as like a kind of demo trade out. In the back end of the APIs, I'll show you later on, the output is more of a JSON, which you kind of iterate through via Python to kind of get what you want. But in essence, what you do get is just a list of keywords amount of keyword analysis, where it takes the rubbish you don't want, which is just adding to the main themes of the text. So what is sentiment analysis and question opinion mining? Sentiment is the feeling you get from a piece of text. So if someone's happy, sad, angry, in the context of what we're doing, it's getting a negative or a positive kind of feel from what's been said. So this is kind of an image I've took from Microsoft, where they kind of go over, the room was great, but the staff was unfriendly. Through the sentiment analysis review API, that would be a negative sentiment. With opinion mining, you get these two breakdowns. So you have the room, which is the subject, the opinion of great, and the sentiment is positive for that. But then staff, unfriendly, it's a negative opinion. So it's contextual, it's more granular sentiment analysis, and so it can be quite useful in terms of really getting down to the nitty-gritty of what people are feeling when they're kind of making a review on Trustpilot or what they're saying. So it can be more useful, and it kind of shows as well to certain subjects what particularly are people's opinions on those subjects. And that's something I'll break down later on in the Power BI. So that's quite useful. So what are the Azure AI services? This is kind of Microsoft definition of it. It's a toolbox for you to kind of get in there, make AI tools and make use of AI. And it helps you kind of get into it and do stuff faster and quicker and get off the ground. It's democratizing AI for you. In the essence, is what the services are. And to go through a quick list of all the services there, you've got OpenAI service, so that's with all the investment marketing at the moment in terms of models. So it's a bit more codey, that one, but it's there, it's useful. But the stuff is document analysis in terms of getting information, receipts and invoices, search stuff, bots. I'm going to whistle through these now because there's a lot there. But the one we're really interested in is the Language Studio. So without further ado, getting over the theory, we'll go on to the demos now. So this is the front page. Oh, sorry, 1 second. There we go. So this is the Azure AI services, and it kind of shows you there all the things I listed earlier. And all there is kind of documentation underneath you can kind of get started with. I said earlier, language is what we want to go into. So I'm clicking that. When I was going through earlier, the internet wasn't great, so I've already preloaded all these pages. So I'm going to click through, but I'll show you the links when you get to them. And it shows you all the APIs that are there for you in terms of doing that language kind of things. Can everyone see that? Can make it out? Yeah. So the two kind of APIs we work with are extracting key phrases over to the left here, and analyzing sentiment and mine text for opinions. But there are a lot of other things here in terms of translation as well, conversation understanding, classifying text, again, for detecting languages. There's a lot there, but we're going to kind of zone in on certain bits. So if you were to click on the extracting key phrases, you would come to this quick start guide here. So you can click what language you want to work with for these APIs. And it tells you how to get started, where to go, as well on the original page, how to set up these resources as well. I'm not going into it today. I said we've only got 20 minutes. But it gives you these great code examples. So this first bit is installing, if you're familiar with Python, the library, which allows you to get access to the language studio. And then you get this nice bit of Python here, which kind of goes through, it defines a function, which does the groundwork in terms of connecting to the API and passing your written text up to the API and get results in JSON. You'll notice when I come to my code later on, we're going to add a documents bit to this to pass in, because I'm going to pass in a kind of a big Excel file, which will then go row by row. So it's the Excel file is a list of reviews I've obtained from Trustpilot for Lidl, the shopping chain. So we're going to feed them into the API row by row for keyword analysis and sentiment analysis and opinion mining. And I'll show you that in the Power BI report at the end. But you also get the same through the Language Studio for sentiment analysis and opinion mining. Again, you pick your language, and it will give you, if you scroll down, the code you need to kind of get access. So you're already given the tools you need to kind of do this work. They're giving you the nuts and bolts of the Python that you need. So it only takes a little bit of manipulation to kind of get output. And to give you an example of kind of the stuff you can get out from this, you can go to the Language Studio and you can try out these certain tools and kind of see what they do. Now, this may or may not work. Earlier, I said the internet wasn't great, so I tried to run it. It didn't go in the end, but it gives you examples. They've put a bit of text in there. You click run, you acknowledge the demo may incur a charge. It won't. If you go for, there's two versions of the Language Studio, where it's free or paid. I would say 90% of the projects I've done with Language Studio, I've been able to get away with using the free version. There's quite a whole threshold of the tokens allowed to go through. So in terms of teaching yourself this, it's practically, you won't pay a penny, hopefully. Depending on how much you push for it. Okay, so quite quickly there. So that's kind of the output it shows you in the front end. The real output you get from the API is this JSON, which is quite complex, to say the least, in terms of kind of going through and the information that's in there. It breaks the text down sentence by sentence and gives you the overall sentiment and then the opinion mining per sentence, kind of getting these words and stuff out. So this is what we'll be dealing with when I show you the Python in a second. So quickly to whistle through how we kind of do this. So I've taken the code we had from the quick start guides earlier. So this is the keyword extraction. Popped it in. When you do set up your language resource, you get a key and an endpoint. And this is using this define authenticate client. So it sends your details up to the API with your key and endpoint. It says I'm authorized to access the API based on how I've set it up. And that's given to this function as well. It's in the quick start guides. And then it passes to this client.extract key phrases. That's the key component which is given in the quick start guide to kind of send your document up and get a response. So get the JSON response of keywords. So once I've set those functions up, I kind of bring my document in. Just a quick pandas.read. I make some lists up to then append information to. I give each keyword an ID so I can trace it back to the review at the end. And then I save that CSV. With sentiment analysis, it's a bit more complex, but only where we're saving not just keywords, we're saving all these additional fields as well. So the rating, review, different assortments of sentiments, the target, the assessment of that target. Yeah?
We've used this kind of things can we pass any type of documents, like if you're passing Word document, it's got tables and pictures and that, does it process that also, or only the simple one?
The way it works, so this, when I've done to CSV, because I'm passing it a kind of a chunk of review at a time, so it'll take just a string of data, then kick out from there. So Word document-wise, you'd have to kind of get it in a way which you can pass strings of data to it. So it wouldn't take pictures, it would take just strings. You'd have to make it string. So you'd have to, through Python, extract the text and turn it into a string, pass that to get the JSON back. That's how I'd work that. So it's just manipulating to get into string base. Yeah, and going through, creating CSV, kicking out. And once you've done that, you can get a Power BI report like so. To give you a quick look, kind of the documentation underneath. This is kind of the output of that opinion mining Python I put out. So you're getting the information, the IDs I said we put in earlier, we append to make sure we can tag it to the opinions, the reviews, and the keywords from earlier. And then you get all the additional fields as well, such as review sentiment, the sentence, what sentence has been broken out from that chunk of text, and it's sentiment, the target, the assessment of that target. And you can see for that section, there's a lot of people saying the staff are a little rude. And then just a little kind of data modeling. As I said again, I'm not a Power BI developer, but I think it has worked quite well in the end in terms of how I'm linking that kind of data in the background for the key phrases, the keywords, the IDs and stuff. And you kind of get something like this. And the impact of having all that keyword and kind of sentiment analysis in the background is the way we can break it down, like so. So if I want to see, for all the reviews, we're given 5 on Trustpilot, but I want to see where the sentiment is negative. And you can get something like this. Can everyone see that? It says, very good customer service, but don't buy fruit and vegetables, which are low quality. So they've given it a 5-star review, but by using sentiment analysis, they've said something negative in there. They're saying the fruit and vegetables are not great. So if I was Lidl, I wouldn't be looking at these 5-star reviews. I'd be looking at probably the 1 and 2-star reviews, kind of see what's not going well in the company. But kind of this goes more granular and says, well, inside these reviews, is there some sort of mixed emotions into what people are saying? Are they giving it a 5? But they're talking quite negative at the same time. So you can drill into that. Or you can do the inverse, where it's a 1, but they've been positive. Have I done that right? I think so. 1 second. I think the example I've got is up here. Okay, so they've given it a 1-star review. It says on the screen there, too busy, especially in the afternoon and evening. They need more trained staff. The manager was professional in helping me in the elevator today in Uxbridge. Thank you so much. My best, kind Caitlin. So it's a 1-star review, but they have been quite positive about the manager there. So again, it's kind of, it helps you see the conflict in terms of when people are overly negative, but they're still saying nice things about a company or saying nice things in these reviews. You can kind of extract that extra information by using this sentiment analysis and keyword extraction. So one final bit I want to show as well, kind of what we can do, is with these opinion mining aside, you kind of see with different words, subjects, how many times someone said something negative about that or mixed or positive, and then you could possibly drill into that even further and get something like this word map. So you can see for meat, these are all the words that have also been said in those reviews, all the keywords that have also been said in these reviews. So you can kind of look holistically at the textual data in that regard, in a kind of a grand layer. Or you can kind of go over to the deeper of this opinion mining and see all the kind of the verbiage has been used to describe the meat a little, or any other company which you use this kind of stuff upon. So like fillet, expensive, empty, thank you. Discoloured, chewy. So I'm hoping that's kind of showcased the kind of the value you can get from applying just what was quickly, relatively quickly, and easily via quick start guides. Extracting more information from textual data that otherwise you may just take at face value. It's not most companies that will go through and look at each review in depth, but they come through these APIs, kind of go through and do it en masse and extract the key information via these natural language processing techniques. So just to finish off, as we're coming to the end, thank you for listening. If you want to get in touch, I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, again. If you want to talk to Purple Frog Systems, the company I work for, the website, and we're also on LinkedIn and Twitter. And I've also written a very much more in-depth 4-part blog series on this talk, which will give you a lot of information in terms of how I've done this, how to set up a language resource, etc., etc. It's a lot more informative than what I can get done in this 20 minutes. So if you are interested and want to learn more, you can talk to me outside or go find the blog post. And there's a lot of other really informative chats and blogs from my colleagues at Purple Frog. And there's the feedback link again. Thank you very much.